Hello. Welcome to Comedy Intercourse, Series 2, episode... Chris, what's the episode?
Dos.
Fantastic for all the Spanish listeners who aren't really listening.
When we get into higher episodes, I'm going to forget the Spanish, so it's going to become more and more difficult, and the silence is going to become more and more awkward.
Can only do 1 to 5. Sorry, all the people, I say it's basically one person, who've been saying that sorry about the delays, we've had some technical problems, so we've lost 10 minutes of the show, so we'll just have to make up for it. Anyway, we've got plenty of stuff on the show for you today. We've got some TV, got some internet, got some stuff around Leeds, got a really bad film to review. And we have a special guest in the studio today. Please welcome Bryony Jameson.
Woo! Hello.
Hello. Bryony does stuff with LSTV, and you've recently been seeing some live stuff as well, like stuff around Edinburgh, stuff in Leeds. Yeah, good
just
stuff.
General student-y stuff.
Yeah, just general comedy stuff. Yeah, because it is a comedy show, so that's kind of
helps
prerequisite. It's What?
Oh God! Oh, I'm gonna have to.
What have you prepared for us, Chris?
Oh, a really nice recipe for some soup.
Ugh. Well, hot porridge is on after this. I mean, that's kind of music and food. So if you,
all right.
If you could leave and come back. I don't know. Okay, so let's start with some TV. Now that's what I call media studies. Chris, what the hell was that?
It was a monster in chains.
What the hell was that?
It's the hideous.
Do we have to apologise to the radio people now?
What for what?
What the hell was
high quality programming.
That sounded like that did not sound like a monster in chains. Right, this is supposed to be our attempt to increase the production values of the show. I asked you to make a jingle for the TV section. You came up with that. What the hell is wrong with you?
There is a tiny thread of logic by which I dangle over the precipice of madness, and it's media studies. Media studies is coming in. It's massive.
No, I understand the media studies bit because it's TV, but it's outrageous.
Oh,
shame on you!
Wow, you're really not going to like the other things I've done now.
What did you think of that special guest?
I haven't a clue what it was, to be honest.
Okay, well, it's right. Okay, it's supposed to be a series of jingles for each section of the show, and that was just obscene.
You're going to hate the internet segment. We may as well just
God,
put it right now. I mean,
right. Oh, let's just get on with it. Right, TV. We were going to do a little bit of a reappraisal of Derek, which we reviewed last. Someone's put on the chat box. That pretty much is a media studies right there.
There you go.
God, yeah,
I'm
okay.
Vindicated.
Fair enough. We're vindicated. It's fine. Okay, so we were going to do a little reappraisal of Derek, which we kind of slagged off last time. And we've come up with some differing opinions. Chris, you haven't changed your mind. You still don't like it?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, what Bryony was saying, which was really cool, was that it's a parody of the whole sort of emotional documentary sort of thing.
Yes. Bryony, you actually really liked it.
Yeah, it's really sentimental, kind of. It's not too soppy and it's not too, like, laugh in the face of things. It's really
So you feel it kind of finds a balance, really, without being too kind of mawkish or anything like that?
Yeah, it's really nice, because like I was saying, they address the kind of problem of like autism, or like the issue of it last in the first episode when they asked the main character Derek, have you ever thought of getting tested for autism?
Yeah.
And then he said, does it make any difference to me? Will it change my life in any way, shape or form?
Yeah.
I'm not bothered otherwise.
It was a really
good.
It was a really good point, because that article in The Guardian was saying, this is quite an offensive portrayal that, Ricky Gervais is doing, and it's a bit dodgy, and he refuted the idea that the character was supposed to be autistic. He was just supposed to be a bit, naive and stuff like that. So they did sort of address that pretty quickly. So
maybe that's a stand that Ricky's taking towards people sort of labelling people. So and go, you're autistic, you've got Asperger's, you've got this, you've got that. Maybe he's saying, no, they're people. Treat people like people. It's sort of nasty trying to set them down. But I think my argument against it is, if the whole sort of it's very sentimental thing, and they had all these long brooding shots of people caring, of the I can't remember her name. The sort of the main character.
Hannah?
Yeah, her sort of caring for the old people. And they just repeated that again and again and again. And I kind of felt like 1 or 2 would have been enough. But they just kept on going back to it, and I felt it was kind of lazy.
We were also kind of toying with the idea a little bit that maybe some of the more soppy elements were maybe a slight sort of jab at documentaries that do that.
Yeah.
Which you were saying that earlier, weren't you?
So. It's kind of like the whole charity video type thing as well, because they really help the fundraising, but they do keep playing soppy music and then keep showing images of caring. So he's basically
a dirty child with bright eyes looking up at you.
Yeah.
Always the eyes.
I think that's actually a good point. So really we could have perhaps missed a bit of a trick there when we saw it, the first episode after the pilot. So I mean they could be coming from a completely different angle, and we just haven't picked up on these things because we're just not clever enough. No, you never know. So a different perspective, I think. Okay, so that was Derek. I also wanted to talk a little bit about Charlie Brooker's Weekly Wipe, the first episode of which, it was the first episode, wasn't it? It just aired recently. Was it the second? I've already missed one.
There was one last week and there was one this Wednesday, Thursday, I think.
Oh, that is definitely 2 then.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So I've missed that. Brilliant. Okay, so I kind of thought it was a strange thing for the BBC to do, because they did Charlie Brooker's Game Wipe and they did News Wipe, and they do that thing every New Year's where they he just reviews 2012 and stuff like that. So I thought it was a bit kind of strange that they just sort of went, okay, we'll do it every week then for 6 weeks. I don't know. It didn't really seem like. It's not really an attempt at doing any kind of original comedy programming, but at the same time, I really, really enjoyed it. It was just as good as all of his other stuff. Really, really funny. Some great guests on.
I think it was the logical next step to take, though, because, I mean, the Year Wipe was sort of like a big... a news thing. Like, he goes through the big stories. He was, like, ripping on the Arab Spring and all sorts of stuff like that. And, with TV Wipe and Games Wipe and Screen Wipe originally, he was sort of looking at the little things. And I kind of feel that, he started off doing anything that was just on TV. He started off with the mundane stuff, and I thought that Weekly Wipe would be getting back to basics.
Oh, okay.
As it were. And that, like, the Year Wipe was this big event that it grew into.
Yeah, but it's a kind of mishmash of everything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sort of, it's going for it all. But I had some great guests on. The bit with Bob Mortimer and that other person when they were talking about horror films was quite a nice little section.
He always has crazy good guests on. Like I discovered Limmy through
Limmy does those Twitter sections where he talks about keeping up with the Twitter feed while he's watching Question Time. It's an absolutely brilliant sketch.
And also the little characters he has from just the production team. Like I don't know whether we can say his name.
Barry Expletive Deleted Peas.
Yeah, Barry
would be the best way of saying that.
Barry Poopies.
Yeah. Very nicely done.
Thank you.
Genius.
I'm still going to get thrown out of the office for this, but I'm sticking to my guns. I'm going down with this. Going down with this ship.
What did you think of it, Bryony?
I really like it, especially the bits with the production, with where they keep getting random people in to just sort of jokingly review things.
Yeah.
Like, was it the Great British Bake Off or something they did?
Yeah. That was brilliant.
It's just I like cake, therefore it's just something so simple. It's harmless.
Very nicely done.
I really enjoyed the Great British Bake Off, and mainly because I thought that eventually it would get down to 2 bakers, and if they baked different cakes, they could never judge them truly. Like, there'd be different flavours. It'd be, personal. So what they'd have to do, instead of, say, bake the same cake, is they'd have to kill each other with baking implements.
Nice.
And that would be the ultimate
I'd watch that. Definitely. I don't really care about people baking cakes and comparing them. I'd definitely watch that. But I don't understand. You're saying that it's impossible to judge cakes if they're different flavours?
Well, yeah, it's like trying to say, what do you like better, chocolate or vanilla? And then trying to... You have one guy do chocolate... But I'm not explaining this,
I have
Richard.
a feeling when they commissioned the Great British Bake Off, they weren't trying to sort of illuminate the audience, to like explore subjective realities or anything like that. I think they were just trying to enjoy cake, to be honest, Chris. It's turned into some sort of existential philosophical program.
It was just about cake to begin with, basically.
Oh, well, never mind. So that's Charlie Brooker's Weekly Wipe. Anyway, we kind of got off track there. Should we take a little look about the comments box?
Yeah, I've been slightly chatting.
D.A. Tipster says that tipster.
It's Dave.
Oh, it's Dave. That's pretty cool. He says, Rich, stop leaving your Facebook logged in. And I can see him wheeling around the studio on his chair, and he's probably already fraped me. So yeah, that's great.
Like a tiny reenactment of Ben-Hur.
Yes, excellent. Jacob says, I still hate Derek. And Richard says, me too, brackets Chris. Oh wait, that's you, Chris.
Yeah, that's how it
You
works.
could have just told me. Jacob, why do you still hate Derek? I'm assuming this is Jacob Rawcliffe. I hope it's Jacob Rawcliffe. You still hate Derek. Yeah, tell us why. Why do you still hate Derek? Or maybe you're not even referring to the show anymore, and there's some guy just near you.
Just annoyed you.
Derek. Yeah, really. Maybe he's a noisy neighbour. I don't know. Anyway, so right, is that pretty much all the TV we want to talk about? Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We're coming up to the hour mark.
Yes. Okay. Well, I say the hour mark. We lost 10 minutes off the show, so you might want to do a quick.
I would like to talk about one thing, the Beyond the Fringe, which I've been discovering.
Oh, okay, some older stuff. Okay,
yeah, with Peter Cook and
Alan Bennett.
Alan, he's lovely.
Yes.
Alan. I kind of wish that there was a cover album where Alan Bennett did like Jay-Z songs just to hear it. I'd love that so much. And yeah, I think my favourite one that I've seen so far is this extended bit about Shakespeare. And there's this lovely bit where they're all standing on stage, and it goes, Exeter, go to Worcester, Worcester to Exeter, Exeter to Gloucester, Gloucester to Exeter, just making fun of the naming thing.
Yeah.
And it was just such a lovely bit where it's just rapid fire, all these names coming out. And then a final bit where someone gets stabbed and dies in a very dramatic way, which is quite ironic because Shakespeare in Midsummer Night's Dream literally makes fun of over-actors.
Yeah.
It's something that it's a joke that Shakespeare's already made.
Yeah.
And he just dies, and then the guy in deadpan just goes, "Oh, saucy Worcester," and that's just stayed with me.
It sounds a lot cleverer than most of the stuff we review. I think the show's it's got a little highbrow just in the past 2 minutes. Now that you mentioned it. Yeah, we don't normally review stuff of that caliber.
Well, I told you not to.
I feel out of my depth, to be quite honest.
I told you not to talk about my brows. I'm really self-conscious.
Your brows aren't particularly high.
I can't fit in.
Don't flatter yourself, Chris. Okay, so Jacob's got back to us, Ray Derek, and he says, I don't like Derek because Gervais still turns me stomach. And I don't think Jacob, if it is Jacob Rawcliffe, you're definitely not northern enough to be using me instead of my, so don't be doing that. He says also, it's cloying and not funny enough to justify its daft and self-indulgent emotional bits. So Jacob's kind of taking the same stance as you, Chris, where they're being mawkish, they're not doing it ironically,
breaking news, guys. Hang on a second. Stop the presses. All of the food has just upgraded from biscuits to scones, and I think we should all be aware of that. It's a big step.
Right. Dat hipster, okay, this is Dave again, says, every time my little brother tries to say Ricky Gervais, he actually says, brick in your face. Hence why I can never let him on my show. Jacob, it was a typo, damn it. Look at my name. I can't be trusted. Jacob spelled Jacob with a lowercase j and the rest of it in capitals.
The chat box is just
lovely. The chat box is going crazy today.
Devolving into this scrum, this mess.
Right, okay. Well, should we move on to talk about our film?
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Film segment 2, The Squeakquel.
Nice.
Oh.
See, now that's the sort of thing we want, Chris. That's the sort of jingle we want. Not this weird lurching. I
thought you were going to do film segment, the other film segment intro, because we used that one last week.
Oh, I guess we could. Yeah, go on then. All right.
I'm making new ones every week for a reason, Rich.
Bear with us.
Film segment 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh. The sound of the ocean. Oh, that's a tenuous connection at best. How does that one work? I forgot I even recorded that. I forgot it was the sound of my own voice. Okay, so explain.
Well, basically, if this was like a TV show, what would happen at that point would be you'd rise from the ocean like a mermaid dripping in seaweed, and you just go, film segment 2, Electric Boogaloo, and then that's it.
Oh, okay, so absolutely nothing to do with films then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Brilliant. Okay, so the film we reviewed for this week was Eddie Murphy's The Golden Child.
Yeah.
It was spectacularly poor. It was really, really bad. Basically, the premise is Eddie Murphy is this kind of detective guy. It's not really explained what he is.
He isn't like actually a detective as well, because he seemed to be doing it off his own back. He went on a TV show and just said about a kid a lot.
Yeah, so he's trying to rescue this golden child, this sort of small little boy. Looks like a little sort of. I think he's a Buddhist monk, isn't he?
Yeah, he's basically Buddha. They said that
so,
every 2,000 generations a perfect child is born. The golden child, or the Guldifafnir, because we were watching it with Icelandic subtitles.
Oh yeah. Chris thought it would be hilarious to watch it in Icelandic.
I'm learning Icelandic, you know? It's actually helpful.
It's not actually a joke. Chris definitely really is learning Icelandic.
Yeah.
You do a module in Icelandic literature, don't you?
It's awesome. It's
Yes.
awesome. But we're not going to talk about that
No,
now.
that's, again, too highbrow. So yeah, and then the main enemy trying to capture this golden child is played by Charles Dance. Probably best known, I think, for his performance as Tywin Lannister on
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
It's basically the same performance as well, which I think adds quite a lot to it.
Just a very angry, tall,
Yeah.
handsome man.
There's throughout the film, basically, he just stares exasperatedly at Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy will be goofing off, and he'll be like going, "Oh, no, brother, numpsy," and he just stares. And I kind of thought that by about half an hour through, the stare wasn't actually him in character. He just wanted the film to be over. And he was just going, "Oh god, he's going to improv again."
But it was kind of weird seeing Charles Dance like in 1986 when the film came out, as opposed to his sort of aged form now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has ginger hair. He's a
Kinda
ginger,
yeah.
which is great for our people because there's not a lot of cool gingers going around, and having Charles Dance on board is great. I'm also left-handed, so I kind of feel persecuted for two different reasons. I'm basically a freak.
You're in trouble in a medieval society because left-handed people go to hell, and you're in trouble in an Aztec society because they'd sacrifice you to the sun god so that the sun will come up the next day.
Nice.
So basically, you can't fit in many places.
It's a lose-lose situation. Okay, so yeah, The Golden Child, it was really, really, really badly written. It wasn't particularly funny.
There was an awesome feeling as you were watching it that the first time that Eddie Murphy ever heard the other lines that other people were saying was when they were filming it. He just he'd react to them about a second too late. And obviously what they'd done is they said, "Well, Eddie, you've got charisma, you've got charm, just improv, do some crazy jokes." And he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care enough to improv properly. So he'll do stuff like, he'll be doing the over the top, "Ooh, he, I'm so wacky" stuff, and he'll go, "Yeah, so I'm gonna save the child. Gonna save it."
Yeah, he'd sort of swap between seriousness and jokiness. He
Yeah.
also uses the phrase "I'm going to bust your ass" far too much than is necessary. He really does. He says it to everyone, even if they're just people in the street. He's like, "I'm going to bust your ass."
Yeah, he didn't even bust that many asses as well. He was quite ineffectual as a hero. He had a sidekick who was of confusing ethnic origin, but was vaguely foreign enough so that they say, "Oh yeah, she's from Tibet. She's to do with
it was quite strange."
And she sort of does kung fu stuff as well, because obviously does kung fu. If it's from Asia, does kung fu.
Yeah, exactly. If you're Asian, you've got to be skilled in at least one martial art. Otherwise, what's the point in even,
Well, they do it in primary school. You've got, you've got your language, you've got your maths, and you've got your ability to soar through the air while throwing daggers.
Yes.
The three, key parts of an education. But anyway, yeah. So there's a beautiful bit where she dies. Spoilers, guys, in case you wanted to see it.
Yeah.
She saves Eddie Murphy from Charles Dance shooting a crossbow at him, and she does it by doing about 90 backflips to get in the way of the projectile.
Yeah.
And then she ends up somehow in the right way up, and then shot in the back with a crossbow, and
It's unfortunate.
And dies.
So where do you think we could put this on the negative scale then? The scale of appalling films?
Well, there is one bit that I think credits it, because overall it was, it wasn't too badly done. The budget was wasted on a trip to Tibet, pretty much. So, the cars that they use are rubbish, and the sets are rubbish. But there is one bit that I think was truly terrible filmmaking.
Yeah.
And what happens is they bust down a biker's lair to find out about this girl.
Oh, yeah.
And so Eddie goes in, he's like, "Yeah, stay in the car, I'm going to do this, I'm the man." And he gets caught by all the bikers, and one of them gets really close to him, and he's like, "Ugh." And he's like, "Oh, have some Tic Tacs, because your breath smells."
Oh, right,
and it comes off actually as really awkward flirting, which was kind of weird. That's beside the point. So the sidekick lady comes in, and she starts beating up the bikers to save Eddie. And at one point, she kicks through a wall. It's a very badly constructed biker squat. It's the architectural merits of it were non-existent. And so she kicks down the wall and breaks a pipe. and she just gets coated in water just so they can have a see-through shirt moment.
Yeah, it was quite
Absolutely.
It was so yeah, it was tasteless.
Already my palm was heading towards my face at a rate of knots. But then the next shot, she was obviously, they'd done it before, she was completely dry. She was completely dry. And then she got a bit damp again.
Yeah.
It got slightly, like there was a small rain, or possibly someone sneezed really heavily over her. And then she got soaking wet again, and then she got dry again. And then there was another bit where they were chasing Tom Tong, I believe he was called.
Yeah, Tom Tong.
Tom Tong.
Aloe the Food has actually, he's put something on the chat.
I think it's
box.
all of the food, Richard.
Is it?
All of the food.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, the food. Hello, food.
Don't I look stupid? Okay, so all of the food says, look, bikers aren't engineers, they're badass. So I think he's providing some kind of defense for the
bikers.
Poor structural integrity of their lair. Don't insult their subpar constructional skills. At least they have a functional place where those ne'er-do-wells can congregate together and socialize in the most amazing ways. And on that bombshell, I think we'll take a little break. Now, we were supposed to play you some music from a band that Chris really likes, comedy band called Evil Scarecrow.
Yeah.
They do like faux death metal songs about quite funny subjects. But we had technical difficulties, so we don't have any of those songs. So I'm just going to play Brian Ferry again. Enjoy. Brian Ferry with Let's Stick Together, played for the second time, consecutively. Sorry about that. We had some problems.
For Richard and Chris and radio.
Oh, we should have used that as the theme tune, shouldn't we?
Brandy, shit on the show.
Very good, very, very good. Yeah, we've had a lot of comments about the Brian Ferry song again. Jacob says he sounds like Bob Dylan. All of the food says, with the same artful poetry and lyricism, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I would thoroughly recommend watching the Let's Stick Together video, which is just Brian Ferry in an all-white suit, awkwardly dancing while his band play the song. It's absolutely brilliant. And big thanks to Dave Tipping, who solved our technical problems and got all our stuff on the right folder, so thank you very much, Dave.
You're not getting vampire trousers, though?
No, sorry, you'll just have to wait till next week. Never mind. So yeah, right. So
in fact, after the reception that we've got for Brian Ferry, I think we're just going to play Brian Ferry songs now.
I think so.
Forever trapped in a dimension of Ferry.
So okay, so we didn't actually give a rating to The Golden Child. So what are we going to give it? I just say like -2 because it wasn't bad enough to be hilariously bad. It was just a poor film. But what do you think?
I'm going to go for a -5.
-5.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, well that beats the -3 that the specials got last week, and I thought that was way worse. But the superhero film with Rob Lowe and Judy Greer, it was pretty dire.
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend it.
I'm not surprised that you didn't know it. Actually,
yeah.
Literally, when I was buying it, the guy said, "Really?"
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Okay, so should we talk some live comedy?
Yeah.
Talk some leads, some stuff happening in the West Yorkshire area. Or wherever, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, Bryony, what have you been watching recently or seeing live?
There's been the recent Milk the Laughs in the Union.
Yeah, we really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was great, was that. It had Ed Gamble headlining.
Yes,
really
he was
good.
fantastic.
And Max Dickens. I'm trying to remember names. Callum Scott and Henry Perriman.
Perriman, yeah. You've remembered them all now.
Eventually.
So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, you thought it was good too.
Yeah, it was really good.
Very much worth its money, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's only £4, was it? £5?
£5, depending if you're a Leeds Comedy Society member.
Comedy's so cheap. It's so cheap. I mean, now the Pigeonhole is the exorbitant fee of £2. I mean, that's a lot of Freddos that I'm not going to be eating now. But,
yeah.
And you've also been seeing some stuff in Edinburgh?
Yeah, there's plenty of Leeds acts in Edinburgh, which I'm annoyed that I missed. That when I've come to Leeds now, I've met like loads of comedians who were actually at the Edinburgh Fringe, and they're all free as well.
That's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Which act specifically?
Things like there was All the Fun at the Unfair with Steve Garland and Henry Perriman.
Oh, right, okay.
They did Pigeonhole, I think, was there as well, actually.
Oh, right. Oh, I wish
so I'm
I'd
just
seen that.
like, I didn't even realise.
Another group that you've been sort of touting as pretty good is the Lancashire Hot Pots.
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay, tell us a little bit about them.
They were northern band, obviously from Lancashire.
You sound pretty northern. Yeah. Can't really get more northern.
No.
Yeah.
They just sing comedy folk songs about anything such as like chippy teas, eBay, just everything.
The
that
big
we've got.
issues of the day,
Yeah.
really.
Just basically, they had one called "I Fear IKEA," which is all about how you can get lost in IKEA and the type of things you find in IKEA.
It is a terrifying dimension,
Yeah.
IKEA.
It's a labyrinthian nightmare. It really is.
A chipboard. I don't know.
I can't think of another word for labyrinth. Maze.
You took nightmare. I was going to go for nightmare. So
Beating you to it. So yeah, you thoroughly recommend them.
Yeah,
Do they just perform locally?
No, they've nationwide.
Oh,
Not
right.
nation.
Have they
Yeah, nation. Sort of. Yeah.
We do live in a nation state, yes.
Sorry.
So just everywhere really.
Yeah,
So
they
they've taken off now, really.
Yeah, just do gigs and stuff around. So they came to the Well in October. in
Where is
Leeds.
that?
It's in Leeds near the
road.
I don't really know.
Near the road.
Yeah.
Presumably, it's connected somehow. Okay, well, so they're normally like around anyway. Yeah.
Generally, they've got like a new album out last year, A Hard Day's Pint, which is all about drinking songs about things like no lock on the door. So when you go to the toilet, there's no lock on the door. You've got to, all the procedures you've got to do, and song about getting rounds in, who's going to get the next round in, and stuff like that. They're just really observational.
Oh, okay, that sounds pretty good. We should probably get some of this stuff on for a halftime song. Good stuff. Right. Anything else in particular?
It's another group called Jolly Boat, who are a musical duo.
Oh, okay.
Saw them in Edinburgh. They were a free one as well, but they're quite local-ish. They're from Hebden Bridge, so sort of in between Lancashire, Yorkshire.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But,
crossing the divide.
Yeah, they've been trying to get a gig in Leeds, so fingers crossed they might look into getting them on Milk the Laughs in a couple of months.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
So they basically just sing really crazy songs. Like there's one, they made the pirate pop medley even. I can't speak today, sorry. Yeah, basically just sing normal pop songs but with a piratey twist. Instead of Yesterday, it's changed to Leprosy and things like that, and just subtly change everything.
I'm a big fan of pirates in all their forms, so
we're going to have to write this all down. This is brilliant music.
This sounds pretty good. So sorry, let's actually
not now, Richard. We're doing a show.
No, I can write stuff down.
Oh.
Actually, no, I'll leave it. That's probably a good idea. And so Jolly Boat, Lancashire Hot Pot.
Yeah.
Anything else in particular?
I can't think right at this very moment, but there's just general, like, just going to Edinburgh, there's loads of free shows, and you just got to see such a range of people. Like, there was this crazy guy who had a Happy New Year party at about 1:00 in the afternoon.
Wow.
In a cafe.
I like how you gestured to me there as well. Just a crazy guy. You'd know him. All you crazies know each other.
Yeah, it just basically got everyone singing Mariah Carey in the middle of August, and there was wearing a really short kilt, rolling around on roller skates, getting people to sing Auld Lang Syne and doing some dancing to Velvet Underground.
That does sound pretty awesome.
I love Edinburgh and the Fringe, actually. I think it's it's sort of like the heart of comedy in Britain, really.
Since when did you go?
I went a couple of years ago.
No, you didn't.
You did?
No, you didn't. You definitely didn't. You never told me about it.
Well, that doesn't mean that I didn't, Richard. I don't understand why you're making a big deal of this.
I just don't believe that you went.
Yeah,
because you definitely would have told me.
I was going to go to uni in Edinburgh.
What?
Yes, but they didn't want me.
Oh, what? Fine, fair enough. But I expect you to keep me up to date with these things in future. Okay,
I'll let
no
you know.
matter how personal or disgusting. Right. Okay. Let's just move on.
I just want to say that I think it was Flight the Conchords played like the Edinburgh Fringe once, and then were just snapped up by some suits. So I just love the idea that you can catch these bands, these comedians, like a moment before they skyrocket. Like that's the launch pad.
Yeah, and apparently Jolly Boats were saying live that Britain's Got Talent scouting people came and asked them, and they were like, no, thanks. They actually have a song which ridicules X Factor as well, so it's like it'd be funny if they sang that. If the
oh, sweet.
So
true to their roots.
Yeah, it's just a lot of comedians like getting scouted for Britain's Got Talent just really is against everything. It's like, no.
They've never had a
Nice.
good comedian on Britain's Got Talent. Like, I always get excited when someone tries. I'm like, yeah, you can do it. And no one gets beyond, like, the second stage.
Jacob says, that's what happened to Pigeonhole. One Edinburgh appearance and bang! Now we've sold out. Yeah, damn you, Jacob, and your £2 entry fees. Who do you think you are?
He's literally sold everything as well. He's just wearing a burlap sack around now. That's the extent to which he's sold out.
everything. Oh dear. Yeah, Jacob, so, shame on you. Right, okay, so should we move on then?
Yeah.
We've covered enough live stuff. Okay, so, right, some internets.
All right.
Right, Chris, you've got some good Twitter stuff for us.
Oh, should I do the tweets of the day now?
Yes. Oh, if you could remember some of them from last week, I'd like to hear the one by The Kizzle, I think it was. Can you remember that?
No, I can't remember.
Oh, for God's sake.
Didn't you write them down?
Yeah, I wrote their names down. I didn't write... I got the whole tweet. How do you expect me to write the whole tweet down?
It's 140 characters, Richard. It doesn't take long. That's the nature of a tweet. Come on.
Okay, well, the ones you've been recently
All right.
looking at. Oh, yeah? Let's go.
Okay, so this first one is of a really cool guy called Ruben Twatter, or Ruben, and it's just a lovely joke. What do you call a comedian without humour? A Comic Sans joke.
That is brilliant.
And I just thought it was brilliant. It was like this lovely sort of well-constructed joke and a really snappy punchline. Next one is by Crushing Bort, also known as Horton Atonto. And this one's sort of like a character tweet. You say you kissed a girl? Hot crackers, what a scoop! Now, tips back hat with little sign that says press on it. Did you learn how they pee? And that's it. I just love the idea that there's this New York reporter going, God damn it, it's the story of the century and I'm going to find it out.
Quite bizarre.
So I thought that was hilarious. This one's by GegTick, whose name on Twitter is also GegTick.
What is it with the weird names on Twitter? Like, because I don't use these things. You know me.
I don't know nothing about these tweets. You whippersnappers.
What is the deal though with these like names? They are really weird.
Just weirdness.
It's a bunch of weirdos.
Someone tried to define it. There's loads of jokes and people being silly on Twitter, and someone tried to define it as weird Twitter, and now that's a huge joke. Like there's this Twitter movement, and that's the most ridiculous thing ever. And people go, "Oh yeah, can I be part of weird Twitter now?" And so yeah, and that's basically who I follow. If you've got a weird name and a funny avatar, I'm going to follow you anyway, pretty much.
Fair enough.
Not really discerning.
Okay, next tweet.
So yeah, this one's at GegTick, whose name, you have your name and then you have your username, and they're both GegTick, so he really likes GegTick.
Okay.
Lol, I'm so random. And then it's an attribution here, and goes, God, while giving a child cancer and allowing a very bad man to continue accruing money and power. So
very dark.
Yeah.
It's an abrupt change in tone from the other two.
That's just how it is.
It's a crazy mishmash on Twitter. Right, next one.
And the final one that I
Bloody
chose
hell.
was by @dangled, also known as someone.
Yeah.
And this is in all caps, but I'm not going to shout it because we're on the radio. It's just, you never made this Waffle House a waffle home.
Oh, that was pretty good.
So yeah,
So a mixed bag there of
of tweets.
humorous tweets, I think, to say the least.
I thought they were all fantastic.
Yeah. No, they were very, very good. Okay, so, right. More internet stuff. Before we talk about the main thing, because there's a TV series we were going to talk about called, an internet series called Dr. Tran.
Yeah.
That we're going to talk about. But just before that, I wanted to tell everyone about this thing that me and you've been messing around with for a bit now. The video game name generator.
Oh.
It's one of the funnest things you can do on the internet. Basically, you just go on this website and you just click and it just randomly generates the name of a video game. And I did it for ages and ages and ages. And the best one I got was Unforgettable Basketball of the Third Reich, which I thought was pretty
amazing.
awesome. I'd buy that.
They had so much basketball in the Third Reich that they chose the best basketball games to make a game out of.
That's how good it is. What I like is the idea that you can select, like have a character roster like on Tekken, and you've got all the big ones. You've got like Goering, Goebbels,
Himmler,
Eichmann. They're all up there.
Rudolf Hess.
And they all have special skills as well, different basketball moves. I think another one was like something along the lines of like Mario's Penguin Massacre or something like that. Which I'd also love to see. It's Mario in the Antarctic just going crazy with
Hacking
it.
them down.
It's the best hack and slash out for years.
I think one of the most famous ones of video game name generator has like a cover that someone's drawn up, which makes it even better, and it's Crab Nicholson Extreme Sleepover Edition, and it's just a giant crab with Jack Nicholson's face in someone's bedroom, just cutting stuff and snipping, and it's just.
Oh,
I just love the idea. I'm here, Johnny. He's snipping your cheek and stuff and ruining your bedclothes. And it's just.
So yeah, that's a really fun thing just to mess around with, really. And so Dr. Tran was the main thing we wanted to talk about. This internet series that's been on for a while now.
Yeah, it's sort of disappeared lately as he's moved on to other projects.
It's by Brian Burns.
Brian Burns, yeah, and a couple of other chaps, but Brian Burns is the guy that sort of disappeared.
And it's just this internet series about this. It's just about this little kid. He's about 4 years old, called Dr. Tran.
And it starts off in him in I think it's Vietnam.
Yeah.
And he's just in his house. And the joke is that they've got an American movie trailer voice and go, "Here comes Dr. Tran." And he goes, "No, I'm not Dr. Tran. I'm fine."
He's like kind of stuck in a film that he's not supposed to be in, and then it just kind of goes from there.
And he's got this lovely squeaky neurotic voice as well. He's like, "How did you find me? Leave me alone."
But Brian Burns has got a fantastic talent for voice work, and the Dr. Tran series is excellent, really, really funny, well worth a watch. And Brian Burns has recently moved on to it is a web series, isn't it?
Yeah,
Bravest Warriors with the guy who does Adventure Time.
Pendleton created the original
Ward.
thingy. He made the two shorts, Bravest Warriors and Adventure Time. And then they sort of sat on the internet for about 3 years. And I remember watching them going, "Hey, this would be awesome." Then suddenly they made a show out of it and it was huge. And everyone's forgotten like this 3-year period which nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Bravest Warriors was largely forgotten. But they've picked it up into this lovely little sort of web series. And the production values for something they've just stuck on YouTube are really, really high.
Yeah.
They're just nice little sort of 6-minute episodes.
It's pretty surreal. It's about these sort of space rangers and they're just going through the galaxy, just visiting different planets and stuff.
Yeah, but it's sort
pretty
of
weird.
It's sort of mundane as well. It's like them just living and doing stuff.
It is. It's a nice balance.
Brian Burns brings the sort of the whimsy. He has a lovely character, which is this old guy, and he has these 3 episodes where the old guy goes past Dr. Tran, Fat Friend, and Leland, who have these little sort of stalls on the side of the road. And he has this whole logic to him, and he gets really annoyed if the kids do this.
These are different characters in the Dr. Tran.
Yeah, so these are all Dr. Tran, and he goes. He has a bit where he goes, "Who keeps popcorn in a frisbee? You've got the right idea. You're smart like a fox. Take my wallet." And it's just this sort of. He has this logic to him, but also this madness. And I don't like "lol, I'm so random." I hate that when people go, "Oh, it's so random." But no, it needs to have a thread of logic to it that you can explain it. Otherwise, it's not funny. Otherwise, you're just saying spaghetti.
It's like, it's like a sort of curmudgeonly old guy.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
So this sort of sense of whimsy is brought over.
Yeah.
And this sort of like anarchic things that happen. But there's a logic to it as well. So the old guy sort of appears as a different character in Bravest Warriors. And they just say, there was an old man with beef jerky listing unusual cares. And he's got unusual cares and he's really bothered about trying to make one of the characters emotional. So he just annoys him and prods him. And so all this wacky stuff is happening. But it's really funny because it's all got a reason to it. And it's all got a logic. And all the people going, "Oh, stop it. Stop filling my helmet with chickens," and stuff like that.
It's like pretty surreal if you're into that kind of comedy, but I think it's well worth a watch. And like you say, the production values, it's basically like as good as a TV show, just on the internet for free. Anything else internet-wise, by the way?
I kind of wanted to talk about OK_CE books, which is OkCupid ebooks.
Right.
Regular listeners, or indeed anyone that I talk to regularly, will know of my love for the Twitter account Horse Ebooks, which has a massive stock of ebooks, and it just takes random quotes and it cuts them short so they can't be sort of picked up by Twitter spam police bots, basically. And they're just these nonsensical tweets. And what someone's done is they've created an OkCupid account, and they've attached Horse Ebooks' tweets to a bot which will reply to people trying to flirt with this fake person.
Yeah.
So essentially they're flirting with a spam bot. And I just want to read out one particular exchange that I thought was brilliant. Hey, one question, choose one answer. M&M's, Skittles, or strawberries? That was the guy. And then Horsey Bucks replies, sexy jar and a good strawberry. So the guy goes, okay. So the guy replies, well, you are the first person to pick that. Interesting choice. I like it. To which Horsey Bucks says, champion, corp, champion.
The best thing about...
And the guy, unperturbed at the end, goes, actually, your choice represents specific traits in girls. And they don't bother.
I just love how the guy's he's just so desperate that he's not even willing to admit that it's this robot winding him up. He's like, no, I really, really want to go on a date.
And he's pretending like he finds her this amazingly interesting and individual person. And the hilarious thing is, it is an amazingly individual person because they're shouting champion at him. I just imagine him at this date and they're sort of eating Italian food. And the girl's just going, champion. He's going, so, do you have any family? Champion. And a sexy jar.
Right. So, So, is that about it then for internet stuff?
Yeah, that's
right. Well,
I had written down.
Okay, so I think we've pretty much reached the end of the show. Before we go, just to let you know, up next is Hot Porridge, a radio show that combines food, so the world of cooking, and music.
Ah.
So, for example, they talk about Italian food and play Italian music. Yeah. So that's what's up next. We'd also like to plug a show by Eddie Hurst, which is on Mondays 2 till 3, which is Fit to Burst, which is his new comedy show that he's doing. The main reason I'm plugging it is because me and Chris have been in it. That's the kind of selfish person I am.
Well, you've already been in it once as well.
I know. Yeah. So that's basically what I want to talk
check
about
out the older episodes when he finally podcasts them.
And we've just had a comment from Dat Tipster saying, secretly plugging my show tomorrow, 3 to 4 p.m.
The Contenders.
Yeah, Dave Tipping's The Contenders is also on tomorrow, 3 to 4 p.m. So you should watch that as well.
Well, listen to it.
Yeah, this is probably the beginning of our never-ending debt to Dave for solving all of our technical problems.
If you want to come in and watch it as well as he's like doing it as well, that's cool. You can do that.
Also, thanks to everyone who's participated in the chat box and stuff. We've got 9 people on here now, which is a record for our show. So, woo! Clap, Chris. Clap for yourself.
I think all these people are coming for Hot Porridge.
10 people on here now. This is crazy.
Yeah, they're all coming for Hot Porridge.
Oh, God's sake.
We need a tastier title.
Way to burst my bubble.
But
Chris.
we had 8 people on our own strength alone. So, you know.
And last but not least, of course, thank you very much to our special guest, Brian Jameson.
Thank you.
Right, okay, so that's about it. And we're just gonna get going now. And okay, we're gonna leave you with a song. It's the first song I've clicked on. I don't know who it is. It's Lady Antebellum with Dancing Away with My Heart. Never even heard it. Let's see how it sounds.